Hi there, it's Anne of Rosie Duck Designs here. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. This is going to be one of my solo videos, so I have set the camera up without assistance, so I'm kind of hoping I haven't knocked anything on my way to sitting down, and you can still all see what is going on the grid paper. So I live in hope. It's a very simple card that I want to share with you today, and again it's going to feature the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper, which I have featured I think at least a couple of times already, but I do love this paper purely because, well, you can see I've done a lot of chopping of this already. I love the way it features the new colours, and it's also got some Poppy Parade in there as well, but the fact there are 24 different designs. There's some really pretty florals, and there's also some really good background papers, and that's what we're going to do today. Rather than using card as our background, I'm just using a base card, and I'm actually going to use the designer series paper as my second layer. So that was just a quick flick through there. I'm sure you didn't see all of them, but it just gives you an idea of really the versatility of this pack of paper. So it's a 6x6 pack of paper, 48 sheets, and just £10.75. So a well worth the investment, I have to say. Unusually for me, I'm featuring Very Vanilla as my base card. I tend to go with Whisper White, I think generally because the designer series papers that tend to appeal to me work well with the white or even the bolder colours. However, I found a lot of the papers within this pack really do work well with the Very Vanilla cardstock, so it's a good excuse for me to get my stock of that out and use that. So this is my base card. As usual, it is 6x8, scored at 4 on the long side to give me my base card. So I just need to just burnish that edge with my bone folder. Now if metric's your preferred measurement, that is 15 by 20, and that would be scored at 10 on the long side to give you your base card. I'm not putting anything else in here, so I'm just going to be stamping straight onto the card. I like to just add a little bit of stamping in here to make it a little bit pretty, and I'm just using the Gracie's Garden stamp set. So it's a one stamp set card, and I'm going to be using two colours, two of the new colours, Cinnamon Cider and Bumble Bee, but you could just use one of those colours if you preferred. So I'm going to go with some Bumble Bee. Sounds like we're about to have a thunderstorm. I've got some competition. That's what you call timing, isn't it? Let's make a video and let's do it right in the middle of a thunderstorm. So I'm just going to put that up the edge of my card. And of course I need to add some Wink of Stella to that. So I'm just going to go into the little floral elements. So there's flowers and leaves, so I'm just going to colour in the flowers. So those of you who love watching my videos to see Ollie the cat, my director, he's nicely snuggled up on an armchair as we speak. Guessing the thunder might have woken him up a little bit, but I have to say they're not particularly bothered with storms, which is a blessing, I have to say. And next door's got a couple of dogs, and they're absolutely terrified. It's horrible, isn't it? Children or animals that are scared of thunderstorms. Right, so we're going to just pretty up the envelope while we've got the stamp. And I'm going to go on both sides of here. Why not? I won't worry with the Wink of Stella on the envelope, and we're just going to put a garland of the flowers across here. because we don't like blank envelopes. Let's put the envelope somewhere safe. I need to just pick these 2 pieces of card up because these are my metric measurements. So I will never remember what the metric version is of my imperial measurements for my cards. I can't get that in my head. So my next layer is going to be my first layer of the card, and I'm using this side of the designer series paper, so that's the flip side to this pretty daisy florally one. Now that is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, or 7.5 by 14.5, and I'm going to attach that to the front of my card. Now, as you can see, I'm still using my supply of snail up, but there is a choice of adhesives in the new catalogue which I will get down to using when my snail has finally been finished up, but I'm good for a while, I have to say. So I'm just going to centralise this on the front of my card. And then I've got a second layer of the designer series paper. Now that one is the flip side to this pretty floral one, but I like the roses. I thought that went really well with that cinnamon cider. That's which I've got the ink pad here to remind myself. Yeah, the new colour cinnamon cider. So that's going to work really well as my background card to just lift up this designer series paper with the roses on. So we're going in the portrait style. A lot of these papers actually do lend themselves to having a portrait card, although you can cut them across the middle and go with the landscape, but I'm quite enjoying doing portrait cards for a change. Now, because I want some of the border to show, I'm going for a slightly smaller piece of designer series paper than I perhaps would normally do, and I've cut this at 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, and that is 8.3 by 13.5 in the metric. So again, I'm going to just attach that to the front of my card. It's sometimes really good to just do something very, very simple, because there's often times when we suddenly find that we need a card in a hurry, but we haven't really got masses of time to put together an elaborate one. So to just have something like this that you can put together very, very quickly is very handy, I have to say, and also it's still a handmade card that somebody's really going to appreciate. So we've got a nice little border showing round here, and then I'm going to just add a little bar across the middle. I'm going to add my sentiment to that. Now, I've used the triple banner punch, which is this one, and it cuts effectively an inch and a half or 2 inches of card or paper, and that is 2.5 centimetres, 3.8 centimetres or 5.1 centimetres, and it gives you this nice cut out edge. So you could just go with one of these ends cut out and keep this straight, or you could, if you don't have this punch, you could just go with a piece of designer series paper. So I've cut that at 3 1/4 by 1 inch, and I've written that down. That is 8.3 by 2.5. So as I say, you could just put that across the middle. So perhaps before we put that together, let's do our actual sentiment, and I'm just going to use the little hello stamp from Grace's Garden stamp set, and I'm going to do that in Bumble Bee. So I'm picking up the colour of the designer series paper at the base level and across the middle. I'm just going to stamp that onto a spare piece of very vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to cut that out using my timeless label punch. Now, I don't think I said, but the triple banner punch is £21 and the timeless label punch is £17. Now, punches like these are brilliant, particularly if you don't at this moment in time have a big shot. It enables you to get those layers on your card without massive amount of investment of craft supplies. Now, I just want to pretty that up a little bit, so I'm going to add some flowers that's going to tie in with the envelope and the inside of the card. So we're going back to our little floral stamp here. I'm just trying these, so I've gone back with Bumble Bee. So Cinnamon Cider in the middle and Bumble Bee for the flowers. I'm just trying this as a stamped off version because I don't know whether I prefer that. No, I'm going to go with the full inked version. I'm just picking up the middle bit. Just head-butted the tablet, so it just feels like you're on a boat. I do apologise. So I'm just going to go across a little label here. So we're going quite close up to the hello. Okay, let's put the ink pad away before I do anything silly with that. We all know what I'm capable of. So again, I've got my wink of Stella because it's rude not to put glitter or shimmer on a card. I try to think how many of these I've gone through in my time as a demonstrator. But they aren't expensive to buy, and they just give that little bit of extra substance really to a card, because this isn't in your face shimmer. This is just going to catch the light as the card catches the light. And that is it basically. So we're going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of there to keep it in place, obviously, and just to in effect raise your sentiment up from the card, so just make the card a little bit more layered. I think 2 will do in there. It's quite a small little label. So as I say, if you've not got the triple banner punch, you could just go with a piece of the matching designer series paper, and you could then just put your sentiment across there, or you can cut it at both ends like I've done with this one and put it in the middle. And that is the way I'm going to finish the card. I can't think what the word is I'm actually looking for. I don't have my cameraman here to say, oh, what is the word I'm looking for, but that is my finished card, shall we say. I just wanted to go through this banner punch with you. So this is cut at the inch, so that's going to fit in the smallest area. Now it's going in the front, but you do still want to watch what's going on at the back. It obviously helps, of course, if you open the punch up. Have you not found that? It's so much easier, isn't it? Just wondering why it's not coming through at the other end. I need saving for myself, seriously. Right, so we're now, I'm hoping you can see this, we're working from the back because we just want to make sure that that is really central before we actually cut or punch out the piece of paper. So it's looking pretty good to me, so I'm going to go with that, she says as it moves. It wouldn't be one of my videos, would it, if it went to plan. There we go. Let me just push that together. I'm just going to cut that. So we've got one end. So what we could do is we could just have the solid end here, the cut end here, and we could just put our sentiment like that if you just wanted a little bit of detail on one end. Personally, and if I was going to do that, I think I would actually go with a longer piece of paper, because I think that would sort of work better if we had a longer piece of paper, so that it went right across the middle, and then you could just put your sentiment in the middle of it, if that makes any sense. I hope that does make sense. But as I say, I'm going to go with that because I quite like the detail of the two ends being cut. So I need some snail. I'm just going to attach that, and I'm going to go for the middle. Then I'm going to get my little sentiment, take off the backs of the Stampin' Dimensionals, and then just put that in the middle there. That's a nice little blank card that you can put a little message on to somebody that you want to keep in touch with, that you haven't seen for a while. We've all got friends, haven't we, that we haven't been able to see. So it's always good to keep in touch. Obviously phones and texts, but a card goes a long way to just remind people that you're missing them and thinking about them. So again, I'm going to just add a little bit of Wink of Stella to the front of this, just not across all the roses, because I think that just would be too much even for me, and I'm not being too fussy with this. I'm just trying to, just within the layers of the rose, I'm just wanting to add just a little bit of shimmer. Now I have to say this probably won't show up. I won't know if it's showing up until I actually upload the video, so I don't know whether, as I say, you can see that. I'm going to hold it up there just in case and push it towards the light. But I can, I'm getting a reasonable view of it there. See, this is where I need a cameraman. He can come in close. But anyway, I've got a look of Wink of Stella there. And maybe I'm just going to actually put some on this main rose up here as well. So again, I'm not colouring in, I'm not adding Wink of Stella to every single area of this rose. I'm just giving it a little shimmer, just so that the light picks up that brightness. The card is being looked at or displayed on a windowsill, which is where we hope our cards finish up. I know that's what I love to do with mine. It just reminds me, I've got one up at the moment a friend sent me, and it's been up ages, but I just think it's lovely because I look at it and I think, oh yeah, you know, that friend sent that to me and took that time out to make that card. There we go. So we've got some nice Wink of Stella going on over here as well on this rose. That is basically it. Now obviously you don't have to have the Wink of Stella, that's just that. If you followed me for any length of time, you know that it's impossible for me to make a card without putting Wink of Stella on if it's at all possible. So that is it's kind of what I do, but not necessary. So that is our finished card, and that is our little envelope ready to write it and put it in the post. So that's it for today. As I say, something very simple. Next time I'm planning to come back with something that just features cardstock rather than any designer series paper. But I have to say it's a work in progress at the moment, trying to get my measurements correct for that. So I will be back. A slight teaser, I got the idea from a bar of soap, and that's all I'm going to say. So, as I say, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that's been of some encouragement to try something simple. Anything that I've used, apart from the snail, can be purchased on my online shop. And there was just one thing I wanted to mention. We've got the triple um, banner punch, but also in the new catalogue there is the lovely labels punch, which in effect is very similar to this, but it's got two ends, so you can finish up with two different designs at the end of the card that you cut, and effectively three different sizes for each design. So where I'm going with this is you can finish up with 6 different sized labels for your project. So again, that is worth looking at, and that is just £21. So everything, as I say, is available on my online shop apart from the snail, and my link to my blog as usual will be on the front of the video. So until then, or until next time, when I think it will probably be a family affair, do look after yourselves, take care, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.